Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over last night's preseason game versus the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to be discussing the best players of the game, the players who disappointed, and all around the key takeaway points. But before I get started with this video, I just wanted to say that we just hit 50 subscribers in just under 2 weeks, which is amazing. And I have a goal for us, and I would really love for us to hit 100 subscribers before October 12th. October 12th is the home opener for the Habs, so I think it'd be awesome if we could get 100 subscribers before the beginning of the season. So yeah, thank you all who have subscribed so far, and if you haven't, don't be afraid to subscribe. I post almost daily, and would love for you to join the channel. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into the video. So the Montreal Canadiens lost their first preseason game 2-1 to the New Jersey Devils last night. Although they lost, there were some good points and some great players. So I'm going to get this started with Mike Matheson. This is the first time any of us see Matheson play in a Montreal jersey, and he did not disappoint. When Matheson played in Pittsburgh, he kind of was shadowing Letang, so you didn't really notice him as often because Letang was like the big superstar. But I think here in Montreal, he has an opportunity to actually become the number one defense for the moment. From what we saw last night, he skates very well, he is not afraid to use his body, and seems like a decent defense to be put on the power play. So with this new opportunity here in Montreal, with a very weak defensive lineup, I wouldn't be surprised if he took it up a notch and he really showed what he's made of. He has the opportunity to solidify himself as the number one defense on this team, and I think he very well may do so. Now, speaking of defense, Goalies played last night, and he was great as well. His defensive abilities were pretty good, some minor mistakes, but nothing to be worried about like usual. He was skating very well, and he almost set up a couple scoring chances. One thing I noticed about Goalies is he loves to join the rush and to drive the offense. So I was pretty pleased from what I saw from him last night. Now I'm going to move on to Caufield. And I don't know if you guys saw yet, but he scored an absolute beauty on the power play. Obviously, it's just a preseason, and you can't really judge things too early, but he already looks better than what he did last season. And what I mean by that, I mean by him at the end of last season where he was playing very well. I think he's going to start off right where he left it off, and he's going to play even better. With a full season under Marty St. Louis, who knows what this guy's ceiling is, but I think he's going to hit 35 goals minimum, especially with how he played last night. Now for Juraj Slafkovsky, it wasn't his best game, but you don't have to worry. Everyone's a little harsh on him right now, but don't you worry. He's not a new Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He's not a bust. It's just way too early, guys. He's 18, and he's still developing to North American game style. It's a little different than what he's used to. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some noticeable differences within the preseason games as he gets used to this kind of play style. When you look at the big picture, how he's an 18-year-old still developing, and he's coming into transition to a completely new game style, he's doing fine. He made some good plays last night. He almost scored, and he almost created some goals. So there's nothing to be worried about, guys. Give him some time, and he'll be just fine. For the goalies, they both played well. The game was split between Jake Allen and Cade Primo. Jake Allen had no goals against him in his time on the ice. He played very well. As for Cade Primo, he did let in 2 goals, but one of them was a little weird, and there's nothing really to be worried about. But what I noticed about Cade Goalie is he looks a lot more confident than he did last year when we saw him play with Montreal. Again, it's too early to say anything because it is the preseason, but I am liking what I'm seeing from him. As for Jake Allen, there's no question he's going to start off the season in nets. No question there. But when it comes to the backup, although Sam Montembeault will probably be behind the bench, waiting as a backup, I think if there is an injury with Allen, Cade Primo has a serious shot at becoming the main goalie for the time being. If it was last year, we'd automatically assume that Sam Montembeault would take the net, but I think if Primo continues to develop and continues to gain more confidence, he may be looking at starting a few games if Allen gets injured. And I'm saying this because Allen usually gets injured a couple times during the year, so there will definitely be space for both Montembeault and Primo to get some starts in. Anyways, moving on to Kirby Dock. Kirby Dock looks very good in his first game in a Montreal Canadiens sweater. I've noticed he's starting to learn to use his body more and be a little more physical, and to really focus on using his speed as an advantage. Although there were some mistakes from Kirby Dock, just like any of the other players, he was one of the more noticeable players, and I'd say one of the better players on the ice as well. And for the last guy I'd like to mention, it's Anthony Richard. Once again, he's had himself a great night. He didn't put up any points, I don't think, last night, but he did everything else right. And whenever he was on the ice, you would feel his presence. You would just know he's there because he was doing something right. Now, Anthony Richard has had a really good camp for himself, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him be in the fourth line in the future. He has that kind of play style where he grinds for the puck, a little bit like Gallagher, but he's always getting to them corners, and he has that perfect fourth line mentality. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of the game. If you guys had anyone that stood out to you that I didn't mention, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, that's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.